Well, thank you for having me tonight. My name is Matt Moon. We recently moved back to Pell City 2 years ago. I say recently, it feels like it's been a quick 2 years being back. We've been very busy. I am married. We have 2 daughters, both in the school system, moving into the 11th and 7th grade. And my wife is Jamie Moon, and we will be approaching 20 years next year married together. So I'm currently working at Vulcan Industries here in Moody. I'm the president there, and very excited to be part of the EBSCARE family, and appreciate you having me here tonight.
Awesome. Please describe the role of a local school board member as you understand it, and why are you the best person to fill this position?
I think first and foremost, it's an advocate for our children, our teachers, and and the whole school district. And I think it tears down from that into got to set a strategy. Set a strategy, set a vision, set goals, and then we move on with, the other items, which are budget. We have to approve the budget, make sure we're meeting that. We also have to evaluate our superintendent and the effectiveness of him. And then lastly, it's community engagement. As far as, best for the role, I think what helps me be qualified, a lot of what I do in my day-to-day job mirrors those exact things as the leader of Vulcan. And really for the last 10 years in my previous role in my previous company. I help set our vision. I have complete profit and loss responsibility for that industry. Also really set the culture, the mission and values. And the last 2 organizations I've been a part of really focus on community involvement. That's one of the reasons it prompted me to do this, is just the experience I've got all the way from helping with United Way, the 2 nonprofit boards I've served on, and then support I've gotten at both those companies to be involved in the community.
All right. What are the most significant issues our school district is currently facing, and how would you propose the district address those challenges?
Yeah, so I don't know if I look at this as maybe the biggest issue, but I think this is a great opportunity. We are in a transition mode from both a new superintendent. Cecil just mentioned our strategic plan. It is set to expire in 2026. So we clearly need a new strategic plan. And we're lucky that as we're also transitioning from an elected board to an appointed board, new superintendent, and we just got the survey results from AASB. So we've already reached out to parents and the community. So we have feedback from all of those. And I think as we get elected into this new board, and as we transition to a new superintendent, I think this is a great time to redo that, to reset our values, reset the strategy to make us be the best school system out there.
The Alabama State Department of Education scored Pell City schools an 80 in 2022, an 81 in 2023, and an 83 in 2024. What are your thoughts on this trend and the trajectory of the school system overall?
Yeah, I think that's a great trend. I went to the state's website after seeing the question, and I wanted to help understand what those scores did. And there's multiple subcategories. I get a little bit lost in the details of how the state scores it. And I noticed then we can also break down by individual schools. And I think that's a great chance to if the scorecard is going to be our kind of North Star, I think we can take those subcategories, break those down. I've come from the last 10 years out of manufacturing. We do root cause analytics to break down what are areas we need to focus on. I'd like to take those subcategories by individual school, working with board, working with the administrators, superintendent, and also all of those stakeholders to include the community and now, the city that will appoint us. And I think that also gives us this chance that strategic plan helps set us ahead to increase those scores even further.
All right. Does anybody from the committee, do you have any follow-up questions from questions 1, 2, and 3?
I do. If I see your resume here is very impressive. It's all managerial and all business, but this is running a school. How are you going to transition that? How is that going to apply to running a school system when all your experience has pretty much just been in business operations?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. The fortunate part about all that experience and the leaders that have helped develop me, my job is all about people, and I believe the school system will be the exact same way. And so I've been lucky enough that both the companies, the recent companies I've worked for, have put a lot into employee development. I think we can do that the same way. And I think people skills and the way we lead people transition to any environment.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right. How important is long-term strategic planning for a school system? And what key areas should Pell City Schools prioritize such a plan?
Yeah, for me, I don't think you can't move forward, whether it's school system, business, or anything, without a strategic plan. So I believe it is critically important to the success in our future. We must have a mission and a move forward statement. What should we focus on? I believe building trust through employee engagement, alignment with both the city, the Board of Education, and the community, so that trust continues to grow, so that they have faith in all three of those areas, so that they know we're meeting the needs of the community. And I think that's the biggest three.
What steps would you take to establish and maintain trust in the board?
I listened to a podcast a few years back about radical transparency. And it talks about whether you walk out of a meeting, you walk out of any situation, and it talks about what happens if someone scored you based off that one meeting and how much effort did you give into it. I think that's the approach we have to take. I think the other thing that is real big about on the communication, especially with community engagement, is it needs to be a single source. You know, this board needs to be one. I know it's 5, but when we communicate, we all need to be on the same page and together. And that, if I were to be appointed, that would definitely be one of the topics that I would want to focus on, is we all need to be together on it.
What is your perception of our school district's current working and learning environment? Do you have ideas on how to ensure and maintain a positive environment?
Yeah, as far as the experience, I can only go off what I have seen, and that's around my 2 daughters who have had great experiences in the classroom. So I have a positive experience of it. Now, what I don't see, I'd have to rely on feedback from teachers, administrators, and the superintendent to be able to help me answer that question. And I think teachers are of critical importance to us. You mix the teachers with our community, and that's what I would focus on to be able to help guide that.
What are your thoughts on the current structure of the Pell City School System's curriculum? How should this district's curriculum balance college preparatory courses with vocational and life skills?
This one is tough for me. As Rusty mentioned, I've never been in the school system. So I don't know if I'm a subject matter expert on answering curriculum. That is where I would also lean to the superintendent and also to the administrators to help us drive that and get feedback from them.
Do you guys have any follow-up questions for Mr. Moon? We've got some time. Nothing from you, Rusty?
No more?
Mr. Moon, you've got 5 minutes. If you want to close us out, you go
Perfect.
right ahead.
Well, I want to say thank you again for having me here tonight. I appreciate the opportunity, and I would just like to close with exactly, before I decided to do this, I wanted to make sure that my leader would support this. And the first thing he said was, do you remember what our value statement is? And it talks about community involvement. And do you think you can make a difference? And I said, I absolutely do. And he said, we will support you 100%. And so I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be here to impact. And I know that through some of the nonprofit work I've done, I am passionate about community. I want to make the community that we live in, my family lives in, better. And I just once again say thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mann. We appreciate you.